Swaziland King, Eswatini King Mswati III, given a jet by sponsors. Now let's get to the truth. Like, was it real giving? A private jet by sponsors? Hey, take this private jet. For my understanding, there's nothing you're giving for free. Now let's get to the truth of why he was given free private jet. Or what was the story behind? Let's get to the truth. So King Mswati III's lavish lifestyle has been criticized by the opponents at the time of financial stringence. If you are unaware, the net worth of King Mswati III is more than 100 million US dollar. He's the 5th richest kings in the world. King Mswati III of Swaziland, Eswatini, has recently or past years received a luxury jet as a gift from anonymous sponsors. Who is the anonymous sponsor? So this is according to the government spokesperson had confirmed to the BBC. The DC-9 twin-engine aircraft is for the use of the king and 13 wives at that time. But now king has a 15 wife and 25 children. This is according to the Percy Simalane, the government spokesperson who said that. Swazi's banned opposition party say taxpayer money must have been used to buy it, according to the opposition party which were banned by the Swaziland. But the government spokesperson Simelane denied this. In 2002, the king tried to use a public fund to purchase a jet, but the sale was halted after the street protest. King Mswati is rated by Forbes magazine as the world's 15th richest monarch with a personal fortunes of 100 million pounds, 100 US dollar million, which is equivalent to 62 million pounds, while many of his 1.2 million population of Eswatini subjects to living in poverty. He is widely accused of profligate spending, although he cancelled his Silver Jubilee celebration last year because of the Teeny Kingdom cash crisis. See? Now let's go to that birthday gift that he received. So the plane arrived in Eswatini on one of the Tuesday. That was 2012. The gift of the development partner and the friends of the king who wished to remain anonymous. That's according to the government spokesperson, Mr. Simelane. So they say it's normal for this part of the world not to want to be mentioned when giving a gift, according to the government spokesperson. Now then he say he denied media report that a gift was a birthday present for a king who turned that time for 4 years old on 19 April, which is the birthday of King Mswati III. If you don't know, on 19 April, go and wish happy birthday King Mswati. So through the local chief, we're asked to donate cows to be slaughtered for the mass feast to celebrate the event. Now according to Mr. Simelane, who is the government spokesperson, the development partner are people already involved in a social and economic development of the country. Eswatini Diaspora Platform, human rights group based in neighboring South Africa, has rejected the government explanation for the jet, demanding full details of the donor and the value of the jet. Now, we know for facts no development partner will want to be anonymous, but the nature of the development agents are transparent, and this according to the spokeswoman Ntombenhle Katwane. He told some news agents, and some of the media or when they were asked, see, we know is okay. According to the information, Eswatini financial crisis, King Mswati should have refused to gift, but he asked the value for a jet to be given instead to the Swazi people. See, but Eswatini current is in economic crisis and has sparked the protest and demand for a more democracy in the last absolute monarch, where all political parties are banned in Eswatini. The country has one of the highest protests at the moment. Protests. Now let's go to the second party. The king plane, his private jet, was impounded in Canada for a second one again and again and again. The official aeroplane of King Mswati III was impounded in Canada over a disputed debt. This was 2016, May 18. This was the second time the King jet was detained in Canada. Now, Mswati former business partner, who was a Singaporean entrepreneur, Shanmuga Rathnam, had a plane detained through the Canadian court in a bid to freeze the king's assets and reclaim 8 million. He said the African royal owes him. The king denies owing Rathnam any money. Now, so the entrepreneur, Singaporean, he told Mswati the McDonnell Douglas DC 987 in 2010. He sold Mswati the McDonnell Douglas private jet DC 987 in 2010. Then King paid 6.5 million for refurbishing it. I said again, for refurbishing it and refinancing it. When first announced the arrival of the Lavish outfitted jet, the Swazi public said the king, this was a gift. So what happened now? Why his gift is being freezed and impounded in other country? So last year, Rathnam had a plane impounded for 4 months in Canada. He impounded a plane before that, and the king had to surrender and pay 3.5 million. And now he impounded again. King paid 6.5. So why the plane go there? Because kings take his flight for repair in Canada, while majority of people in Swaziland are suffering. This time, Rathnam has obtained what is called worldwide freezing order from the judge in the British Virgin Island, where his aviation firm is registered. The plane is being held in Ontario, Canada, where it was sent for service. Back in South Africa, a Swaziland prosecutor has charged Rathnam with misappropriating funds related to the Swazi mining venture. Oh, okay. So Rathnam had been ordered to appear in Swazi High Court in July 30, but our prosecutors say the charge has nothing to do with the debt dispute. So, meanwhile, the Singaporean entrepreneur and the Swazi king weren't always at issues or odd, but the two fell out over the iron ore mining venture from 2011 to 2014. A dispute led to the mine liquidation and 700 employees losing their job. Meanwhile, Mswati plans to buy a second big private plane this time. However, the Eswatini, which is the Africa last absolute monarch, has a GDP of 4.4 million, with a near 2/3 of its 1.3 people living below the power. Now let's go to the last part. So now Here we got King Eswatini gift showcase to a lure of American plane registration to the foreign leader. Like, you got your private plane, but now it's registered to the foreign information. So 5 years ago, Eswatini, a small impoverished country in South Africa, announced that King Mswati III had received an unusual generous birthday present, which is the luxury DC-9 twin-engine aircraft. The plane featured red, yellow, and blue stripes that matched the color of the Swazi flag, and was loaded with amenities including rows of first-class seats, fixed marble countertops, a shower, and a room bed. The king, benefactor, was cloaked in misery by the plane tail number told a familiar tale about the private plane used by the foreign leaders. It was registered in United States. The Lavish outfitted jet of Swazi public, the king spokesman described it as a gift. So last year, Rotherham had a plane impounded for months in Canada until the king agreed to surrender 3.5 million. Now, remember, at the same time, the old people who are pensioners, they get paid only $22 every month. So the entrepreneur from the Singaporean Rotherham has obtained what we call worldwide freezing order from a judge in a British Virgin Island, where the aviation firm is registered. So the plane is being held in Ontario, where it was sent for service. And back in South Africa, Swaziland, a Eswatini prosecutor has charged Rotherham with a misappropriating fund related to the Swazi mining venture. And Rotherham, who's an entrepreneur, he's been punished and he's been ordered to appear in Swazi High Court by June. So the prosecutor said the charge have nothing to do with the debt dispute. Mswati planned to buy the second private plane, which he bought, while the country GDP is 4.4 billion, nearly 2/3 of its 1.3 million people living under poverty line. So he recently went and wrecked and demolished the home and the house of the poor people in Eswatini. And a lot of people crying that why you do this to us? Why you do this to us? King Mswati, he said he's gonna go ahead and demolish because there is a Chinese investment in that place. But I beg, according to the information which were leaked, they say there's a speculation or there's a rumor he might build the mansion for his new girlfriend, new wife. King Mswati III, so he went ahead and purchased all these 19 Rolls. He has a private mansion. People of Swaziland, Eswatini are suffering while he continued to spoil his wife. He continued, and apart from buying 19 Rolls, he bought 150 BMW brand new for his own personal use. Man, for that be said, it's a lot of things that he does. A lot of people in Swaziland, they're not happy with it. So the security guards, for leaking the photos of the private plane, Rolls, he has been fined 29 cattle. After the picture of Mswati billion-dollar private jet appeared on social media, he got upset. Why you go and display my private life on social media? Same goes for the photograph of the wake of the vigil of the King Mswati III wife, Nkosikazi Senteni Masango, who committed suicide in April 2018, was also public. This match is indeed one of the kind and is famous in its garden home. It has a garden. The palace has a gold everywhere. The palace has a crystal chandeliers and a marvelous floor, which makes it even more beautiful, expensive to move. See, now if you move to the Dini, is another palace. Dini is another place of the king owns, is where the mother of the kings live. Separate home of each family member sounds like a plan. What do you think about this, guy? Let us know in the comments section. None of the shops spree along with the king. He leaves also make sure that the wealth is being spent careless, you know, among only his cycle. They enjoy investing money, you know, and time and thing like shopping around, traveling. Once people came out in the street to protest against the king and his wife, you might be thinking about the reason why this happened. Let us import the 9 out of 15 wives took the charter plane. See, they took a charter plane to Europe for the sake of shopping. It happened that one of the time, when they arranged themselves to fly to Middle East. See, now let's find out. Now find it. Let us inform about it that 9 of his 15 wives took a charter plane to Europe, and only for the sake of shopping. It happened one of the time as well when they arranged themselves to fly to the Middle East. And according to the report, each of the king's wives spent $40,000 shopping for their shoes and dress. Although that sounds funny, for that being said, if you FaceTime, man, please watch my other video, subscribe, share this video to a lot of people, like the video, leave a comments below so you tell me what you're thinking, and I'm gonna see you soon. Peace, and I'm out.